Hi, my name's Dan Balch, and we're going to take a dark look at Darkest Dungeon. Referring to Darkest Dungeon as a Lovecraftian roguelike is certainly accurate. However, this simple description does an injustice to the wonderfully bleak, hopeless tone that Red Hook Studios has managed to instill into the world they have created. While the tale Darkest Dungeon tells, that of an unspeakably terrifying eldritch creature being summoned into the world, is by no means a revolution in horror storytelling. It nevertheless manages to present itself so well that its lack of originality is easily overlooked. Through a fantastic combination of dread-filled, sometimes near panic-inducing gameplay, coupled with a fantastically grim narration, art style, and sound design, Darkest Dungeon is quite capable of instilling the sense of hopelessness that the denizens of its world are mired in. Indeed, those players who venture blindly off into their first expedition into one of the many shadowy corners that surround the hamlet where the game takes place may soon find that very sense of hopelessness. In traditional roguelike fashion, Darkest Dungeon rarely pulls its punches. Those who wish to succeed may plan every detail of their ventures carefully. The destination and its various dangers must be planned for. Members and their various quirks and odd behaviors should be carefully considered and selected, and equipment must be evaluated and purchased based upon the party's expected needs. While it is certainly possible to grab 4 of your poor adventurers at random, hand them an assorted pile of gear, and send them on their way, this more often than not ends in failure, if not the complete destruction of the party. Once the expedition begins, the player's party will be accosted by monsters and other hazards as they attempt to achieve their goal. Combat is turn-based, with a heavy emphasis on position. Monsters and player alike will use their unique abilities to damage, disrupt, and weaken each other. While the physical peril is certainly tremendous, the mental can be just as, if not greater. As stress levels increase, the risk of various deleterious psychological conditions surfacing becomes an even greater menace than the creatures your party combats. This can quickly spiral out of control. One party member may become abusive towards her teammates, further increasing stress. Another, pushed over his limits, may give in to fear, retreating back into the ranks during battle or simply freezing in place. Once madness takes hold of the party, as the walls close in and irrationality displaces sanity, death is often soon to follow. Those that manage to return alive, either in success or failure, can then use any acquired treasures and heirlooms to improve the destitute buildings of the hamlet. Here, skills can be learned, equipment can be upgraded, and fresh souls can be recruited. Those who require it can indulge in one of the several leisure activities that Hamlet offers in an attempt to forget the horrors that surround them, and to further inoculate them to the coming terrors. This cycle repeats until either resources run dry and the player surrenders, or success is achieved and the evils that haunt the player's land are sent back to where they came from. As the game informs the player every time it begins, Darkest Dungeon is about making the most out of a terrible situation. It is a game for those who enjoy beating the odds with careful planning and tactics, for those who can learn great lessons from their failures and know when to cut losses, and for those who are not afraid to dive deeply into the dark, tenebrous corners of both the physical and the mental. And that's why we give Darkest Dungeon 4 stars.
The Darkest Dungeon.
For more dark reviews like this one, check out our channel, like and subscribe. Until next time, this has been Dan with Heads Up Display.